travel market. So welcome again, our second webinar in a series of three, provided to you by SheTrades from the ITC and the EU-funded Green Tour Africa project. So I think I don't have to introduce myself again because I already did last week. So let's skip this part. So about last week, I hope you all received the documents so that you received my slides. We shared with you a crisis manual for tour operators. That's a manual that I made for Myanmar, but it's for tour operators, so you can also use it for your own business. I sent an example of a crisis communication update, an example from Nepal. We shared with you a cash flow analysis template, so use it. An example of terms and conditions cancellation policy. We discussed about that nowadays, because of the COVID and you know, the bookings that hopefully will come back soon, that when they come back soon, people expect more flexible terms and conditions cancellation policy. So there was an example that we also shared with you. And the final file or document that we shared with you was a template for a program itinerary. If you didn't receive it, please ask Caroline. She has all the files. So today, the training objectives show an understanding of what USPs are. USP stands for unique selling points. What is a USP? Why are they important? And how to communicate your unique selling points. Show an understanding of what your client wants and a connection to your unique selling points. Show an understanding of the different areas where USPs play a role. B2C, so doing business with clients directly. B2B, working business to business, so with business partners. And how USPs come back in your products. So then we're talking about your itineraries, your tour programs. Next objective, show an understanding of how to formulate your unique selling points, show an understanding of how to include sustainability into your unique selling points, because sustainability is something that is more and more part of our corporate USPs, but also part of the product. So we're also gonna talk about that. Improve your product presentation, how to include your USPs into your itineraries, using the right verbs, telling stories, but shortly. And at the end, we will look into elevator pitching. All right. So to develop your own elevator pitch is the final training objective of today. So housekeeping, you're all on mute, so that's good. Slides you will receive as a PDF file later on. Caroline will share it with you. I'm also going to send you some extra documents that are useful for you. Questions, use the chat, or at the end when we have the Q&A session. If there are technical issues, use the chat box, contact Caroline. Your knowledge, feel free to share. So if you want to share something, then put it in the chat box, and well, we can also unmute you and that you can share directly. Okay, so what about today's agenda? 9 points, last week's session, a wrap up, and we're going to look at the homework. Second session is the introduction to USPs. What is a unique selling point? Why? Third session, what customers want. Fourth session, what your business partner wants. The fifth session, how to communicate your unique selling points. Then a wrap up. Then we're going to look into USPs, product development and sustainability, how to include sustainability into your products, into your USPs, elevator pitch, Q&A. Okay, so about last week, what do you remember? Please use the chat box and let me know. I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds, 1 to 1 minute. Please let me know what you remember. Can't see the chat box yet. Let me see where I can open it. All right, so I see some different things. China, select a market segment, for example, family travel. Explain why Chinese families should choose your company. Oh, sorry, these are the these are the homework questions. Okay.
We have an answer from Monica regarding the questions you had asked. And she says that she had chosen China as her example Asia country, and her market segment is private safari through Kenya. And
All
she
right.
explains that a Chinese family should choose her company for spending their holidays because first, her company owns fleets of vehicles. They prepare the program as per their requests. They know the destination very well. They're fully licensed and insured. They are eco-friendly and sustainability concerned.
All right, that sounds very good. Well, actually, we're talking about a homework right now, but what really well formulated already. We'll look at that later on. But what about the things that you liked from last week's webinar? Actually, that was my question. Still not talking about a homework right now. Just about what you liked, what you know, some maybe some highlights from last week's session.
We have comments from Mary. She says she likes when you covered how Japanese travelers are very particular about family travel and are willing to spend.
Yeah.
And then from Vera is that some Asian markets are very particular about their culture, so she must consider that when planning their trips.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's a very good remark because, you know, when we looked into the 6 different Asian countries that we dealt with, I mean, we saw commonalities, but also differences in tastes, differences in how to communicate. Huh? For example, communication in English for the Chinese market is still very difficult. Same for Japan, Korea to a lesser extent, I think. Also differences in terms of social media use, for example. Korea has a very unique social media culture. So that is very important indeed, Jennifer, for, you know, for planning your marketing strategy. So a very good remark. Okay, so well done. Some very good remarks. So let's continue. And now my PowerPoint is not working. All right, here we go. So last week we discussed 6 countries: China, Thailand, Japan, Korea, Singapore, and India. And we looked at some different items or topics. We looked at the number of outbound trips, so the number of foreign overseas trips, international trips. How much do they spend? When do they travel? What do they like? Trends and developments, how to reach them, B2C, how to reach them, B2B, obstacles, specific elements. For example, working B2B with the Japanese markets is something that often goes through what they called land operators, some kind of intermediary organizations. Working B2B with the Indian market, also not that very easy. You need to be very patient. They're not very focused. And upcoming niche market segments. Who remembers this slide from last week? What country are we talking about here? Please use the chat box. What country are we now talking about? So we talked about first wave and second wave. What country was this? What country is this? Can you put the name of the country into the chat box?
From Monica, she says it's China. First wave, cheap travels. Now second wave, better payment for the clients. Grace also says it was China.
Yeah, yeah, well done. It's China. Also, first wave are these big groups, these hordes of tourists, often referred to as $0 tourism. And the second wave is about what's going on right now in the Chinese outbound travel market. The market is maturing. They're looking for new kicks, a lifestyle affirmation. It's less about shopping. It's about culture and stories. History is something that really drives the Chinese outbound travel market. Desire to learn from the world. New groups of Chinese tourists that are looking into nature, small cities off the beaten track. For example, last week I was in the southern part of my country in a province called Limburg, which is not very close to Amsterdam, because Amsterdam is where a lot of Chinese travelers go. But when I was talking with, I was in a small scale rural accommodation over there. And when I was talking with the owner, she said, we have more and more Chinese guests and Japanese guests in our accommodation, which is really off the beaten track in the rural area. But it's, and I started to discuss a little bit with her, and I talked to her about our webinar that we had last week. And she really confirmed that, you know, Chinese travelers, some other Asian nationalities, they are more and more looking into rural areas where they can enjoy nature, where they can enjoy, you know, accommodation in a natural setting off the beaten track. So actually it was a confirmation of what you see and what you read in a lot of research about Asian outbound travel markets. All right, so who are these? Anyone, please use the chat box. You remember these people? Anyone in the chat box? Okay, I see we have some answers here. Thai people, yes. Janet, yeah, you are right. At the left side are the Thai senior people. And the picture on the right-hand side, these are the Japanese senior travelers. So Thailand and Japan, what do they have in common? The society is aging very rapidly. So more and more senior people. And they start to travel more and more. So when we looked into the Japanese senior travel market, we discussed some issues that are relevant to them. So some of the things that we discussed is about their concerns about security, also language, and one remarkable thing about the Japanese people, especially the seniors, was the food. Food is very important to them when selecting a destination, when choosing a tour program. They want to have good food. I think even for the Koreans, this is even more important. So the seniors, Thailand and Japan. So who are these? Anyone? Can you use the chat box? What are we looking at right now? What did we discuss last week? You remember these pictures? Family trips. Anyone else? Yeah, it's family trips, but more specifically, it's 3-generation trips. So for example, when you look at the Chinese market, at the Japanese market, you see that 3-generation trips is growing. So traveling with granny, grandpa, grandmother, mom and dad, and then you have the kids. So 3-generation trips is a growing market segment in China and Japan, and they go overseas. So, all right, China and Japan. Then here we have the family travel. So what you see right now in the Chinese market is that in the urban areas, in the big cities, that more and more families that have good income, that they start to travel overseas. Wealthy families that want to give their kids a meaningful, a learningful experience in a different country, to learn from the culture, to learn from the, the stories, the things that people do. Adventure also, going to nature, going to some local communities that the kids can interact with the kids from the village, maybe do some fun stuff like football, a soccer game, or maybe create something together out of bamboo, like toys, like making a car with bamboo, or leaves and things like that. So family adventure travel is something that is also a growing segment in different Asian source markets. But again, remember this angry girl that we discussed about. When you're going to work with the family travel market, you really need to do what? You need to do things very well. It needs to be fun for the kids. The timing is very important. So don't put the kids on a bike, when it's the hottest time of the day. That doesn't work. No long excursions with a lot of history, data, etc. That won't work for them. Remember what I told about accommodation. There needs to be a swimming pool, a safe swimming pool. The food needs to be good. Preferably accommodations where we have family rooms. So all right, so family adventure travel. Then okay, let's have a little bit more speed. This is the schools, the students, student travel, also growing expat communities in Thailand. We discussed about that last week, sending their kids overseas to have a cultural experience, exchange program, learn from other countries, etc. Food and culinary experiences, we also looked at that, especially interesting, growing in the Japanese and Korean market. So this is, for example, a 3-generation culinary, or how to say, a culinary workshop. Not this picture, it's actually a different picture that I used during my last week's webinar. So cooking classes, popular with mom and dad, but also with the grandparents. Local experiences, we also discussed about that. So we're also talking here about community-based tourism, so authentic cultural community experiences, popular in, now my presentation is stuck again. Oops. Popular in the Korean markets and the Singapore market. So Singapore, Korea, they have an above average interest in community experiences. Wedding, honeymoon travel, you remember that one? What country did we talk about when tackling this market segment? You remember? Please use the chat box. Anyone? Very, very niche market, but very interesting markets, also big market segment in the US and the UK, where you have also these bridal shows. Okay, there's something in the chat box right now, I think. Anyway, all right, so we were talking about India. So Indian outbound travel market is characterized by a growing segment, a growing group of Indian people that travel abroad for wedding, honeymoon tourism. All right, so this is another slide, a very important one. Research first. You need to know what the customer, your customer, wants. So research first, and after that, you develop your programs, your products. So to do research, you have to have access to market intelligence. And actually, last week's webinar was all about market intelligence. What about market intelligence for the Japanese market, for the Chinese market, for the Singaporean market? Market intelligence is essential to be able to know what the market wants, to define your unique selling points, to develop the right products for your selected market segment, etc. And market intelligence, there are different sources for that. I put Google as a first item, because putting the right keywords in Google search will bring you a lot. So for example, if I want to know more about family adventure travel from Japan, put these keywords in Google search and you will be amazed what you can find online. So use Google very wisely. Think about the right keywords to put into Google search. And again, you will definitely find a lot. Another market intelligence source, the UN World Tourism Organization, they have a lot of research. Eurostat, tourism ministries and tourist boards also have a lot of data. Sometimes they have their library where you can search for market intelligence. Tourism trade and other associations. For example, other associations, for those of you that are dealing with the youth and student travel market, you have WYSE, W-Y-S-E, which is the International Umbrella Organization for Youth and Student Travel. There, for diving, you have PADI, or national diving associations, things like that. The International Trade Center, SheTrades, ITC also have a market intelligence available. Because I work for the CBI, CBI is an agency of the Netherlands Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have a very, very useful tourism market intelligence platform. And here you have the hyperlink. National sports associations, if you're into diving, if you're into bird watching, for example, here in Europe, all the divers in my country, they're united in a national association. So when you go to the Dutch, the Netherlands Association for Divers, you will find market intelligence. You might even find out that they have like an e-newsletter for their members that maybe you could use to put some advertisements in that, etc. Golf players, for example, one of the companies that I'm working with in Myanmar is specialist in golf travel. And, he's now looking into the Netherlands Golf Sports Association and how to work with them. Clubs, networks, universities, for example, tourism universities. Here in Netherlands, we have the Breda, that's a city, Breda University of Tourism. They have a very interesting library. Travel and tourism e-newsletters. There's a lot out there. I'm reading a lot of eTurbo News. You have Travel Mall. They're all different kinds of e-newsletters. Make use of platforms on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. There are different tourism platforms that you can become a member of and have access for free to tourism marketing intelligence. All right. So what about a homework? Caroline sent me one email with the inputs from Philip. So there were three things. I asked you to select one Asian country. After that, I asked you to choose one market segment. And the third, item C, explain why this market segment that you selected should walk with you as a company, as a Kenyan or Ghanese incoming tour operator. So maximum 5 bullet points. So Philip said, okay, you know, I choose Singapore. The market segment is the luxury family travel market, but high end, so wealthy families. Well, I think in Singapore, definitely you're gonna find these families. And then C, so why should they walk with you? Why should they choose you as a company? And I see some different things here. Paramine is ensuring safety and security on our safaris, clean vehicles and comfort. That's why they should travel with us. Health of the family, our frontline staff is very well trained and tested upon on up-to-date COVID-19 protocols. Destinations, all parks and reserves to be visited are family friendly, regardless of age of the children. Another aspect, accommodations, so family-friendly accommodation. And another aspect, since my company provides luxury family safari, all our tours are tailor-made and escorted by a safari director. So actually what I ask you to do here in item C is to formulate your unique selling points, because this question is about the benefits for this Chinese family to travel with you as a Kenyan or Ghanese incoming tour operator. So thank you very much. Well done, Philip. USPs are okay, although I think it's good to formulate them a little bit differently, but I'm not going to discuss this right now because this is what we're gonna talk about into pretty much detail for the rest of this webinar. So I hope that after this webinar, Philip, you have more ideas, inspiration to reformulate your unique selling points. Is there anyone else that would like to share his or her homework with me? Please use the chat box. So put the name of the country, what market segment, and your unique selling points.
Hi, Marlon. We had Monica already sharing her answers in the beginning of the webinar.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Let me see if I can go there. No, wait. Chat. So let's go to the chat and go up. Okay, oh yeah, Monica. So you selected China, family travel, all right. Private safari, family safari through Kenya, and then explain why a Chinese family should travel with you. Own fleet of vehicles, prepare the program as per your requests, know the destination very well, fully licensed and insured, eco-friendly, sustainability concerned. All right, I understand what you're trying to say, but if you, I understand it because like you, I work in the tourism business. But when you look at these 5 points, I don't think that the tourists or the Chinese people will understand it. So if you tell them, okay, you need to travel with us because we have our own fleet of vehicles. All right, it's actually a fact, but what's the benefit for them? Prepare the program as per your request. Okay, so you can give them a tailor-made program. So what's the benefit for them? You need to try to reformulate that a little bit, like, okay, you know, we can listen to your needs, what you want, and we will develop the perfect program for you that tick all your boxes. It's a different way of formulating, you know, so it's clear for them, okay, this is the benefit. Know the destination very well. Okay, that's a fact. That's a fact, huh? You're experts, but try to reformulate that a little bit. Like, you know, we are the experts. We know all the hooks, you know, all the corners of our country, and we're gonna show you the hidden gems, for example, huh? Fully licensed and insured. All right. I don't think that is of that important to a consumer, although for a business partner this might be more relevant to know that you have the license, that you have insurance, etc. I think for a customer the most important thing is to know more about the program, about the product. Eco-friendly, sustainability concerned, okay, perfect, but you need to communicate the benefits. So for example, instead of saying we're eco-friendly, sustainability concerned, you can say, for example, if you travel with us, you will, you know, you will make a positive contribution to the local communities. You know, for example, this is much more interesting for them to read. Or you say something like, you know, we work, all our guides are local guides. And I mean, this is also about sustainability, huh? So you work with local guides to, you know, to also give them work. So, you know, local community members, they earn money because of you using them as for their guiding services. So you can say to the customer, if you work with us, you know, we only make use of local guides, so you contribute to, you know, the economy, or to local families. Or you can also say here, like, we only work with local guides because they know the stories best, the local stories. They know about the hidden gems in the forests, things like that. So already very well done. But sometimes you need to rephrase it and really make it clear what's the benefit for the customer, or what's the benefit for your business partner to choose you as a company. All right, so let's move on. Thanks for your inputs. Well done. All right. I'm having a bit of a technical issues here. So let's, okay, one moment, please. Okay, so again, here the homework, and point C is all about why us. So it's about your unique selling points. What's the benefit of this Chinese family to work with you? So actually the homework that I gave you, you were working on your unique selling points. So unique selling points, that is what we're going to talk about today. Is there anyone that would like to give a definition of unique selling points? So what is unique selling point? Can you please use the chat box to put your answers? What is a unique selling point?
We have an answer from Grace. She says it's what makes you different from others.
Yes, very well.
From Jennifer, what makes one stand out from the rest?
Yeah.
From Comfort,
yeah.
Also known as your value proposition.
Yes, that's another term. I mean, I prefer to use the term unique selling point, but some people, they say unique value proposition. It's the same. Yes.
And from Esther, that which differentiates you from another.
Yes, absolutely. Well done. Well done. Thank you for your inputs. Okay. So here you have it. You know, we use some different terms. So unique value proposition, unique selling proposition, unique selling points. It's the same. Again, in this webinar, we will use the term unique selling point. All right, so thanks. Unique selling points. All right, we're now getting to session 2, is the introduction to unique selling points. So unique selling points, actually the clue is in the title. It's something unique. So it's about a way of differentiating. So thanks again for your remarks in the chat box. It's what you are selling compared to what others are selling. So be different. It's about a reason for people to come to you, to work with you as a company, instead of going to someone else, another company, your competitor. If you offer the same as the rest, we are not talking about unique selling points. Then we are talking about a selling point. Okay, so unique selling. It is intended to sell your product, your program. You know, you want people to do business with you. The outcome of this selling is give it to me. I will have that. I will work with you. I'm going to buy it. Or I'm going to be your new business partner if we talk like B2B. So selling is about sales. It's the selling bit of the term unique selling point. Point is about something brief. It's something short and sweet. When you formulate unique selling points, it should be no long stories. It should be very short. It should be very clear. Okay, I think more people are using the chat box right now to put some, okay, some other homework. I see that my homework too, country Thailand. Okay, all right. So unique selling point is a clear statement that describes the benefit of your offer, how you solve your customer needs, and what distinguishes you from the competition. It's a basic marketing concept in which you define what makes your product or service unique and valuable to your target market. The unique selling point tells potential customers why they should do business with you rather than your competitors. Unique selling point to me is one of the most important things of the company. And as you see at left hand, one of the most important elements of your overall marketing strategy. A unique selling point is not product. It's not about a product. Many people, many companies that I'm coaching, talking with, they come up, when I asked about what is your USP, they say my product, or safari, or bird watching programs. No, unique selling point is not product. It's about talking, mentioning the benefits. So the benefits of the product. So what is the benefit for the customer to buy, to purchase that safari program from you? So unique selling point, again, is the benefits. All right. So let's move to the next slide. If there are any questions, let me know. Is it clear to all of you what unique selling point, what it is? If not, then please use the chat box. Okay, so I already mentioned that your USP is not a feature, it's not a product, it's a benefit to your client. Okay, some of you might have had the training from the Travel Life training from Mr. Chris Thompson. I think that was about 1.5 years ago in Nairobi, and you might know this exercise. But I'm gonna give you this example. It's about a whiteboard marker to explain to you the unique selling point. Unique selling point. All right. So here we go. Whiteboard marker. I mean, when I do training, I use a lot of these whiteboard markers, and some of them are good, others are bad. But when I'm going to buy a new whiteboard marker, I want to have something that is really good. I want to have a good whiteboard marker. So a whiteboard marker that I can use for a longer time. So not only one training, I use the whiteboard marker and I need to throw it away. That is not what I need, what I want. I want a good one. So what is my need here? Can anyone say, what is my need? Please use the chat box. No one? What is my need? Please use the chat box.
Francisca writes, saving money.
No, not really. I don't want to save money. No.
Vera writes, a good marker.
A good marker. Yeah, absolutely. But actually my need is longevity. So I want to have a whiteboard marker that I can use for a very long time. So my need is longevity. Yeah? So what is going to give my pen longevity? So then we are talking about a feature of the whiteboard marker. So a feature of the product. So what is going to give my whiteboard marker longevity? Well, it must be something about the refill. A lot of whiteboard markers, they are alcohol based, and alcohol evaporates. So whiteboard markers with alcohol in it is not what I want, because these are not going to give me longevity. So actually what I want is a water-based whiteboard marker, because I can use them for a very long time. So the feature of the product of the whiteboard marker is water-based. And what is the benefit for me? Well, it's long lasting. The whiteboard marker won't dry out fast. And this is about unique selling points. There is a need, there is a feature, and there's a benefit. And this is also what you need to think about in the tourism field, in the travel and tourism business that you are in. What is the need of your client? How am I going to create something that will fulfill this need? And what is the benefit? Is that clear to all of you? All right, let's move on. So we're talking about three.
Marlon,
Yes.
there's a question from Na. She's asking, isn't longevity the same as saving money? This is the same question that also Comfort is asking.
No, longevity is not the same as saving money. Longevity means that it's long lasting. So that longevity, if you look into the dictionary, if you check it up into the dictionary, it says like long lasting, it says like sustainable, you know, that you can use it along. It's not, longevity is not a synonym for cost saving. No. Okay. Okay, so when we talk about unique selling points, there are three items. There's a need, there's a feature, and there's a benefit. So these three items you need to keep into your head. And benefits, that is something that needs to be formulated very well. This is the USP. Okay, so again, your homework, the last point was the benefits of doing business with you. So again, I ask you to formulate your unique selling points. Why us? Okay, so need, feature, and a benefit. That is again what we talk about. I mean, this is your business and where to put USPs. Again, we talked about need. So what does the customer want? So how do you know what the customer wants? How can you find out their needs, their wants? I mean, again, here we are talking about market intelligence, but maybe also ask your customer, you know, ask them, ask your business partner. What about customer surveys that you have? What can you learn from that? Maybe in your customer survey for family travel, you find some remarks about the accommodations that they were not really happy with the accommodation, or maybe they were really happy with your accommodation because they had some very great, very spacious family rooms or whatever. So that's a unique selling point. So knowing what the needs of your customer are is very important for formulating your unique selling point. So a unique selling point is actually, it's your winning zone. You don't want to be in this area where you know where your competitors do similar things like you that you're also good at. No, you want to be different. You want to differentiate yourself. So you want to be in this area. So this is the area where you don't go. You know what your customers want, but your competitors do it also very well. This is what we call your losing zone. Your competitor meets the needs of the consumer, and they might be better than you, so you will be crushed. So this is not the area where you want to operate. Yeah. This is also the competitive battleground. It's the risky area. You do it well, but also your competitor do it well. Is that an area where you want to work in? It's risky, but if you add some specific features, offer some superior service or some innovative items in your tool program, it might be doable for you to operate in this area and compete with your competitors and win the battle. All right. So knowing what your customers want. Again, we're talking about market intelligence, customer satisfaction forms, asking them what they want. Very important. So do you know what these people want? Do you know what your customer wants? I mean, last week we talked about, again, these 6 different Asian countries and their features, the specifics, their needs. Do you know what they want? Very essential. This is a slide that I took from another presentation, because there are a lot of different types of consumers. You have the golf traveler here, the lady, that you see here. We have mice travelers. We have luxury travelers. We have people that like to do walking and trekking. We have the honeymoon travel segments. We already looked at that. So these are some niche market segments. But are you good at that? Can you cater for these markets? I mean, I cannot do bird watching, for example, because I do not have knowledge of birds, that I'm not an ornithologist. I cannot really do motorcycle travel because it's not what I'm good at. I leave that to other companies that are much better than that. I'm not going to compete with them. It's not going to work because it's not my passion. It's not what I'm good at. So, don't even go there. Do you know what they want? Again, the bird watchers, sport fishing travel, another very, very niche market, golf travelers. If it's not your passion, if it's not your area, then don't go there. So who is your customer? Okay. For those of you working B2B, do you know what your business partner wants? Do you ever ask about the needs of the specific wants they have? Because when we talk about USPs and doing business, there's a bit of a difference. So if you are a company that is working business to business, then your USPs is all about convincing the potential business partner to send their clients to you. So if you're a B2B business and on your website somewhere you put your USPs, these USPs are more about trust, ease of mind. It's about reliability. I remember from the chat box that insurances was mentioned somewhere. Reliability is also about, for example, that you show on your website, on your B2B website, that you are a member of CATO, for example. So the Kenya Association of Tour Operators, or I think in Ghana it's TUGA, right? TOUGHA. So that gives reliability. For a consumer, this is not that important. For them, again, it's more about the program, about the product. Again, so working B2B and talking about USPs is also about your handling standards. It's about the professionalism of your staff, your people, your team. So it's different. If you work B2C, so directly with the consumers, your USPs are more about convincing the potential traveler to walk with you. Actually, this is the point C of the homework that we did. So convincing them to choose you as a company and book the trip. So the USPs for the consumer is about addressing their needs or desires. So for example, this Thai family adventure family, what are their needs and how do you fulfill their needs? And so the focus is much more on the product and the program when you do B2C business and when we talk about unique selling points. So what do you do well? So that is very important. Again, I cannot do bird watching well because I'm not into that. It's not my cup of tea. What am I good at? If talking about B2B, I have I'm very fast in my operational response, or I can, is someone there with a question?
We can continue.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you do well if you work B2B? What is your specialization now? What are you really good at? For example, operational response, or you can reply within very fast. You're very, you have a very expertise or a very well-trained pool of staff, etc., etc. If you talk about unique selling points and writing them down or publishing them, what do you do well? The truth. Don't give any lies. Don't say I'm good at this. Well, it's not that. So don't lie. There are two things when we talk about unique selling points that you should not do. Safety. It's a bit of a sensitive issue. And that is also what I saw in the homework sent by Philip. In your USPs, don't put too much emphasis on safety, because it might scare off people. They might think, well, the destination is not safe, or you know, I'm gonna be in a lot of danger when I'm going to this country. It's a bit different now because of the COVID, and safety is now playing a more important role. So when you want to include safety into your unique selling points, you need to formulate it in a very diplomatic way in order not to scare off people. And we're going to discuss about that later. Price is not a unique selling point. And this is where I see a lot of things go wrong, because a lot of people say, yeah, okay, price is my unique selling point. I'm the cheapest. Don't do that. For Europeans, when you say price, I'm the cheapest is my unique selling point, it's not gonna work. And not only Europeans, also a lot of other clients, they will think, oh no, it must not be good. If you're so cheap, if you say that you're cheap, then it can't be any good. You compromise on quality. The hotels must not be very of high quality, etc. So don't use price as your unique selling point, or say something like we're the cheapest. I'm going to give you an example of a company that used a lowest price as a unique selling point, and they recently decided not to use it as a unique selling point anymore, because they really encountered problems with that. It's the company John Lewis. Maybe some of you know this company. So if you want to include price as some kind of USP, then you need to think differently. You need to, as I mentioned, formulate it in a correct diplomatic way. You can say something like, beat our prices if you can, or you can say we're amongst the lowest prices that you can find, but don't say something like we're the cheapest. That's not a good thing to do. Okay, any questions? Please use the chat box. Everything clear?
We have a question from Francisca. She's asking, I think it's referring back to, yes, this graphic you have. What about we share the marketplace with the competition?
What do you mean with that? I don't understand. Sharing the marketplace with the competition? What does that mean?
Francisca, if your microphone can go unmute, please unmute yourself and then you can elaborate more. Hi, Francisca.
Hello. Francisca, are you there? Francisca?
Okay, let's see.
Hello? No.
Maybe, Francisca, if your microphone is not working, you can just add more comments on the chat. Sylvia, do you have any questions for Marlon regarding this slide? Okay, as we wait for Francisca, we have a question from Mary. She's asking, is there any risk to mix B2B and B2C as far as USP is concerned?
That's a very, very good question. What I always advise companies is when they work B2B and B2C is that they present it separately. So for example, if you are a tour operator and you do B2B and B2C business, I think it's best to have two different websites. So you know, sometimes some very clever agents, they have a website where they mix it. So where they have only one website to do B2C and B2B business. For example, by having a login on this one website for their B2B partners. It works well. They do very good SEO. They have good rankings. So both consumers and business partners know where to find them. But as I try to explain you during my first sessions, is that the unique selling points, the formulation of that is different. So for B2C, working directly with consumers, it's different. The focus is much more on the emotion, on the program. And if you do B2B business, it's more about your team, your people, your professionalism, your handling standards. And I think it's quite complex to capture all that into one company website that you have. Again, I think it's better to split. Another thing that happened in the past is that people have one website again for doing B2B and B2C business. And it happened that the B2B partner, they looked on the website and saw, hey, okay, so these are the prices that they charge directly to the consumer, so B2C. And then they ended up in a big fight or discussion about the prices for B2B. Because if you do B2C business and you say the price is, let's say, 1,000 US dollars, then your business partner, the outbound tour operator, he wants a lower price. He's not going to pay you like 1,000 US dollars for one client that they're going to bring you. Maybe they pay only 700 or 800 euros or US dollars. So yeah, I mean, you know, complexities can be there. So it's sometimes, I think it's better to split these things. Does that answer your question? Let me know. Please use chat box. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Mary says yes. Complex indeed,
Right.
but yes.
Okay. All right. So again, if you talk about unique selling points formulation, you need to know what the customer wants. And again, we have the difference, direct consumer B2C, and we have your business partners, so B2B. In this fourth session, we're going to talk about B2B, because I think the majority of you do B2B business. So do you know what your business partner wants? That's the big question here. And this is actually a bit of a quiz that I'm now going to do, but it's based on a research that we did years ago among European outbound tour operators. So again, your potential business partners. And we asked them the question, if you're going to search for a new business partner, for an inbound partner, for example, in Kenya or in Ghana or whatever country, what do you find most important? So we asked them to rank these items that you see here. So speed, language ability, environmental awareness, reputation, price, etc., etc. So what I would like to ask you right now, and please put it in the chat box, what do you think for European outbound tour operators is the most important item when searching for a new partner in Kenya, Ghana, wherever? Please put it in the chat box. What do you think is the most important item for these European, for your potential business partner? Okay, people start using the chat box. Okay, I see operational response, environmental awareness, speed, environmental awareness, product knowledge, speed. All right, product knowledge. All right, good. Well, Stella, you won the prize. Let's go to the next slide. It's stuck again. It's not my lucky day. All right, here you have them. So operational response, let's say like the speed to answer things, to email, to pick up your phone. But operational response is also about the speed, how quick you can solve things within your country if something happens to the guest. So for example, the guest turns ill, what is your operational response? So how fast can you bring the client to the nearest hospital, etc. This is all about operational response. Operational response is the most important. So product knowledge comes second. After that, speed, price, language ability. Language ability is the number 5. Supply chain is the number 6. So then we're talking about your network of suppliers that you're working with. Reputation, environmental awareness. So then we're talking about sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and payment arrangements and technology comes as the final items. So the ideal Kenyan or Ghanese business partner for a European outbound tour operator is known for a good operational response, good product knowledge, high speed, price, a good balance, price, quality, language ability, supply chain. This is like the top 6. So taking this into account, when a business partner from Europe goes to your website or read your brochure or whatever, somehow they want to see the connection to these important items. And here again, we're talking about unique selling points. So what makes you different from the competitor? Why should they do business with you? What's the benefits? Well, ideally, because number 1, you have a really, really great operational response. Number 2, because your company has really, really talented staff with very good product knowledge. If you talk about supply chain, a unique selling point that your business partner likes to read on your homepage or sub-page or in your brochure is that you have a very strong supply chain. So a good network of hotels, transportation companies, excursion providers that you already work with for, many, many years. And because of this sustainable relationship that you have with your suppliers, they offer you really good rates. That is something very attractive for European or your foreign business partner to read about, to see these items coming back into your unique selling points. All right. And again, don't lie. If there's anything of these items that you're not good at, don't say that you're good at it. No, look at what your strengths are and use these as your, let's say, like B2B unique selling points. Okay, this is a very important number. Almost 81% of European outbound tour operators, so businesses, look at your website before they do anything else contacting you. Your homepage, your website is very, very important. They want to learn about your company. They want to see what your unique selling points are, what your strengths are. So again, make sure that your unique selling points are well formulated and presented on your homepage, but also in other materials. You can always share your corporate unique selling points. And we're going to look later on at some examples that we have. So your unique selling points must be visible on your website. They want to know what the benefits are of doing business with you. Again, in this fourth session, we're talking about doing business to business. Okay, so we already saw that one, so I'm not going to repeat it. Okay, are there any questions? Please use the chat box. Okay, then I would like to propose to have a 5 minutes break. Also during the break, have a coffee, have a tea, think about questions that you might have. It's now, here it's 2:20 p.m. right now, so 2:25 I would like to start again. So let's have like a 5 minutes break, okay? All right, see you soon. So what's the underlying USP that Gillette is communicating here? It's a way of indirectly communicating the USP by using a tagline, a slogan. So what's the USP? Clean sheet. Other answers? Reliability. Yes. None other than compete. Yeah. Yeah. Quality. Yeah, exactly. The USP here is all about quality. HMV, Top Dog for music, DVD, games, another company. The underlying USP here also is about quality. British Airways, the world's favorite airline, the underlying USP here is the popularity of the company. John Lewis, they used the tagline, never knowingly undersold since 1925. And I already mentioned earlier to you that using lowest price as your company USP, don't do it. John Lewis did it. So since 1925, this company, they said like, okay, we offer you the lowest price. If you purchase a product in in one of our stores and you can find it's cheaper somewhere else, then we will pay you back the difference. And recently, and that was, I need to check when that was exactly. I think it was August this year. An article, yeah, August 2020, an article appeared in the Brussels Morning titled "John Lewis Prepares to Drop Never Knowingly Undersold Pledge." So the company, they didn't want to use this unique selling point of lowest price anymore because they ended up in trouble, because other competitors came into the market. They could purchase better in bulk or whatever, they could offer lower rates, and the profits margins, the profit of John Lewis were decreasing. So they really ended up in some serious trouble here, and they stopped using it. So again, never use lowest price as your unique selling point. It's simply not good. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. It's not working here. All right. Okay. Another way of communicating your unique selling points is by actually capturing, framing, or how to use the USP within the company name. So how do you feel about the company name Jade's Melbourne Walking Tours? Well, I think it's actually sounds a little bit boring. So not a very good choice. So this company, they decided not to use Jade's Melbourne Walking Tours. No, they use Hidden Secret Tours as the company name. And why do you think that works much better? Why do you think Hidden Secret Tours is a much better company name? Can you put your answer into the chat box? Why do you think that is better? Okay, some answers there. It sounds adventurous, top quality, curiosity. Yes. Well done. Thank you. Yes, I mean, as I mentioned, the USP is captured here in the company name, Hidden Secrets Tours. So they do something different. They give you secrets. They give you off the beaten track destinations, or some very hidden gems in the city of Melbourne. And this company name, it's much more attractive. It's not as boring as Jade's Melbourne Walking Tours. Huh? This is much more attractive, and it really draws you in. You know, it's wow, what Hidden Secret Tours. That sounds very exciting, adventurous. So that works much better. So the company name includes you know, the USPs are included. Okay. Are there any questions? If you have questions, please use the chat box. No? Okay, so let me do a bit of a wrap up. So we started with looking at last week's webinar about the Asian travel markets. We looked at some upcoming market segments in the different Asian countries. How we looked at these pictures, and I asked you, what market segment is this and from what country? We talked shortly about the characteristics of these market segments. What kind of things do they like? What kind of needs, etc. Remember the slide about research first. So first consulting market intelligence, knowing what your market wants, and then you develop the right product. We looked at the homework, and as I mentioned to you, actually it was working on your USPs. Then we looked at the definition of unique selling points. I gave you the example to illustrate what USP is about by using this example of the whiteboard marker. So remember, there's a need, there's a feature of the product, and it gives me a benefit. Then the session about, do you know what your customer wants? The difference between doing B2B and B2C business, and the related difference when we talk about the formulation of unique selling points. Then we had a session about doing B2B business. We looked into these rankings of items that European outbound tour operators find important when they are searching for a new partner, with operational response as the absolute number one, and how that relates to your unique selling points. And we looked at how to communicate your unique selling points. We looked at best practices, the impact of COVID on the USP formulation, and we looked at different levels of USPs. So you have company USPs, again, B2C, B2B. You have USPs as part of a tagline, a slogan, and USPs captured actually within the company name. All right. If there are no further questions, then we just move on. All right, so here you have actually the bit of a summary that I gave to you. And what I want to do now is to go to the next level, and that is what I call the USP and the product level. So then we arrive at session number 7, USPs, product and sustainability. Sustainability, because sustainability is more and more part of unique selling points and also the product. Okay, so here again we have this is a slide that you saw earlier with the unique selling points of exotravel.com. And again, their USPs, their company USPs are about service, quality, and expertise. So when they communicate this, it means that that service, quality, and expertise should also be put into the product for the customer. So the question here is how to put these USPs into your products for your customer. Again, remember, G Adventures, these are their USPs. So how to put these USPs into your product for your customer. Again, how to put that into your itineraries. So how to create your tour that are about small tours. what about your tours and giving travel with confidence? Huh? What does that mean? What are the ingredients? How are you going to build or include activities, experiences to support local communities? How are you going to create your programs as such that you can guarantee flexibility, freedom, and fun, and G for good? So again, that's about sustainability, leaving a positive impact. So USPs should be translated or converted into your products. Otherwise, if you don't, you're not reliable, then your USPs don't have any value. All right. So this is the product development process. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. And all of these steps you will find explained into this crisis manual that I shared with you after the webinar from last week. So you can read it up there as well. For now, I want to focus on these items of the product or the steps from the product development process where USPs play a role. So research and brainstorming. So what is research and brainstorming all about? It's about thinking about, what are we going to create for our customer? So it's about generating ideas, brainstorming, but it should, again, be based on your unique selling points, on the needs of your target market. And that's what we've been discussing earlier during this webinar. So again, it's about market intelligence. What do they want? What are their needs? What kind of activities do they like? What kind of accommodations do they like? And that is what you later on put into the product. And again, it should all be linked to your unique selling points. ID development. Sorry, I have to drink a little bit because my throat is a bit sore. So the idea of ID development, focus on a few quality IDs that match your USPs and the target market. So remember during the previous slides where I showed you the USPs, how to put this into the product, the first product ID that you have. Differentiate from your competitor. Make sure that you do things better, more innovative, maybe different kind of accommodation that you should put into the first tour ID template, for example. Are there any questions? So also during this stage of the product development process, in the idea development stage, always keep your USPs into your mind and what your target market wants. So the need of the market, always leading. Then we go to sales and marketing. This is about shouting out to the world about your tours. This is what we have. This is what makes them special. How do you do that? And as I mentioned already to you, and I'm gonna show you some examples, sustainability is really becoming an increasingly important part of communicating the product unique selling points. Okay, so how how to market, promote the unique selling points of your products. So your itineraries, your tour programs. Here we are talking about awesome product presentations. All right, one moment, please. Okay, but first, before we're going to look into how to make an awesome product presentation, I want to share with you the issues that I come across when I work with tour operators. What I see now is that many businesses, when they show their tour programs, their descriptions to me, that it's pretty much about an info dumping list of facts and figures. Actually, the product presentation or the description, the day-to-day descriptions are boring. The name of the tour program, what you should do is use catchy and short titles. Again, it's like a company name. The example that I showed to you, it's a title, it's a name in which you actually embody or captured the unique selling points of the product. Lots of times the program title, the tour program name is not very attractive, not very appealing for the customer. Nowadays, showing your product, your description, your product program is much about storytelling. It's all about presenting in a short way a very attractive, nice story, unique story that grabs the attention of the customer. But it's a challenging thing. Not all of us can do it. It's a lot about your content writing skills, and we're going to talk about it later on a little bit more. Companies, for example, not visualizing on their website or in their brochure their target market. If I'm a tour operator from Kenya and I cater for the European senior travel market or the Asian senior travel market, what I should do at least is to include pictures on my website that show senior people. USPs included, well and shortly described. It's challenging. Often it goes wrong there, and companies don't know exactly how to attractively present the product USPs. Spelling and grammar mistakes. Some tour operators that send me their programs are full of mistakes. That is really something that should not be the case. Some companies, they use different templates. Then I get a program for the southern part of the country. It looks differently. Another program for the northern part of the country. It's done in a different font, different style. There's no consistency there in the presentation. It's not good. If writing of a program, a day-to-day program, right? If that is not your cup of tea, you really have to ask yourself, should I maybe outsource? So maybe you should hire someone externally that can help you with writing nice, attractive itineraries. Okay, so awesome product presentation. It starts with a catchy product name. So which one do you prefer? Exploring the old ruins of Bagan City by riding the bicycle, or Bagan by bike? Which one do you think is better for the customer? Please put in the chat box. Which one do you prefer? Which one works better? All right. All right. Yeah, I think we all agree 100% here. Okay. That's the better one, right? Okay, which one is better here? Left or right? The elephants, lions, hippos, and other wildlife of Kenya, or simply wild Kenya? Okay, let's go there. It's wild Kenya. That word works better. Okay, so a catchy product name. Then it's about duration. Create short modules more often than you create long multi-day programs. Short modules can be focused on a particular theme to showcase your USPs. For example, USP adventure, festivals, culinary, wildlife, nature, sport fishing, etc. European outbound tour operators, they are tended to prefer short modules because they can be integrated, included into longer itineraries that they have for your country, Kenya or Ghana. So again, short modules are very attractive. All right, duration. This are some best practices of how you can communicate the duration of your tour program. So simply the catchy title there, Bagan Explorer, 3 days, 2 nights. Inle Lake Culinary Explorer, 3 days, 2 nights. So that is how you communicate the duration in a good way. Destinations. It is only necessary to mention destinations separately for a multi-day tour visiting more than one destination. If your tour program is based on only one destination, there's no need to mention the destination because it is already clear from the program description. Yeah. So what is the good example here? Here you go. Okay, add the highlights and the unique selling points. Sustainability unique selling points. Talk about that later on. A maximum of 3 USPs for a day program and maximum 5 for a multi-day program. If you add too much USPs to your program, the tour program will be very expensive, no? Because every unique selling point that you add to a program makes the tour more expensive. So how to do it, how to present the unique selling points in bullet points or as short text. What I like is that some tour operators that I'm working with, for each tour program that they have, they add like a text box titled, "What makes this tour program so special?" Bullet point, this. Very, very clever. Yeah. Okay, use action verbs that make the program sound exciting. So in your tour descriptions, you should use action verbs as discover, escape, experience, explore, get hands-on, learn, take part, venture. But don't use the verbs like do, go to, have, look at, see. It's a bit like passive. It's not active. It's a bit like boring verbs. So I'm not going through that, but these are all good and bad examples of how to present your product. So the green ones are the good examples. The red ones are the bad examples. So after this webinar, please have a look at it and learn from it on how to improve your own product presentation. This is another best practice. What I mentioned to you, these tour operators that I'm working with and that present their unique selling points under a title like "What makes this tour so special?" This is actually what Detail Travel is doing here. A box, tour highlights with 1, 2, 3, 4 brief bullet points explaining to the world what makes this program so damn special. Very clever, very well done of Detail Travel. Okay, so nowadays, tour operators are more and more including sustainability into their company USPs. So for example, remember about G Adventures? How do they deal with sustainability as part of their company USPs? Well, this icon built to support local communities. And this one, G for Good, is also about sustainability. So that means, because they have these sustainability company USPs, that should be put also into their products, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you some examples of how you as a tour operator can include sustainability into your program unique selling points. The first one, all our guides are recruited locally, which means that they know the destination better than anyone, right? And the second one, all restaurants in our accommodations purchase fresh produce grown or reared locally to bring you an authentic taste of the destination. This is how you can communicate the sustainability unique selling point of your tour program. And you see that I used some colors here. Yellow, then it's a bit like purple, right? And then green. The yellow part is the feature. Remember that at the beginning, we talked about need, feature, and the benefits. That is what USP is all about. Okay, maybe better start with the benefit. If you walk with us, you will know the destination better than anyone. That's the benefit. That's the unique selling point. That's the benefit for the client. The benefit, the second example, the benefit is that I, as a client, will get an authentic taste of the destination. So again, the yellow part is the feature, the feature of the product. So the example that I gave you of the whiteboard marker, the feature was that it's water-based, which means longevity. That was the the benefit. This marker, because the feature is water-based, I can use it for a very long time, so longevity. All right, so 2 examples, but what are other examples for you as a tour operator to include sustainability into your programs? Well, actually there are a lot. There's a lot what you can do to make your program unique, to add some unique selling points to your product and stand out from the rest. So let me quickly go through it. One of the items that you see here is to visit social enterprises. So for example, a vocational training restaurant or a fair trade shop. If you have it and you add it to the product, it could make your program much more unique. Workshop visits like organic farming, natural products, local artists, where people can have like a workshop, make a drawing, something like that. Venture off the beaten track, include other destinations to spread the economic benefits of tourism in your country destination. So again, that's also about sustainability, spreading the impact of tourism. So the income of tourism is more equally spread over the country. Donations, you can include a small contribution per traveler to support social or environmental organizations, eco-friendly tour ideas, transportation by foot, by bike, by trishaw, by local wooden canoe, kayak. E-bike is very popular amongst Europeans. So if you can include e-bikes as part of your program itineraries, you have a sustainability unique selling point. Ethical wildlife viewing. Europeans love seeing wildlife, but they are sensitive to animal welfare. You need to be aware of that. Plastic-free programs, all different kinds of activities, ideas to include sustainability unique selling points into your programs. Some other examples, what tour operators do in terms of sustainability, tree planting, carbon offsetting. Here you go. Then we continue still in the product development. Use the right images. This is well done. This is not well done. Visualize your target customers. Very important, so that people, when they look into your brochure, see this picture, they can associate with it. Don't use this picture, for example, when you deal with the senior travel market. Use the right images. The left one is better. It's hands-on. It's activity. There's action. Timings, very important. But let's skip this. You can read it up later. Distances, program details. This is a bad example of providing program details. And here you have a good example. Okay, level of difficulty. When you present your product, use easy, medium, difficult as the different levels. Rankings 1 to 5 causes a lot of confusion and questions. So if you have level of difficulty for your programs, it's especially important when you sell adventure trips. Use easy, medium, and difficult. Here you have an example. So again, I would like to emphasize writing a product or a tour program is really touches on your writing skills. And also, if you're not like English native speaker, I'm also not English native. I'm not an English native speaker. It can be sometimes challenging to use the right action verbs, to use the right phrases. It can be sometimes be challenging to formulate your unique selling point in a short and very concise way. So you need to be honest to yourself and think, maybe I should outsource and hire externally a content writer. If your writing skills are good enough, but you still feel a bit insecure about it, instead of a content writer, you could then maybe work with a proofreader. It's cheaper. You send it to a proofreader, ideally someone who has affinity with the business that we are in, travel and tourism, that checks your program description and makes some small adjustments here and there. Yeah? Okay. Last but not least, elevator pitch. Anyone, what is the elevator pitch? Let's do this one quickly because it's already 3:30, I see. Okay, let me explain to you. An elevator pitch is like an assertive technique to convince, engage people about this is the way to go. So when we talk about people, it's about convincing your business partner or your customer to do business with you. And actually, this is what we've been talking about during this webinar. Unique selling points. What's the benefit? Why choose for me as a company? The outcome of an elevator pitch is a yes. Yes, I will become your new business partner. If we talk about B2B, when we talk about B2C, it's a yes, I'm going to purchase this program from you. I'm your client. Yeah. So an elevator pitch is like a short story about your company to convince the other person to walk with you. And I added this because actually what you do in your elevator pitch is also briefly mention about what you're good at. You include actually your unique selling points into your elevator pitch. So an elevator pitch is like, again, a short story. You're in the elevator, the door opens and your new client, potential client or business partners joins you in the elevator. You go up and in 20 or 30 seconds, you have to convince the other person about walking with you. That is what an elevator pitch is about. And an elevator pitch is something that all of you should be preparing and using during trade fairs like ITB Asia. Even if it's virtual, everyone should have an elevator pitch. So some golden rules, and I will send this to you later on because I didn't put it in the slide. An elevator pitch, you have to rehearse, pre-planned. It's pre-planned. It needs to be assertive. So I'm talking about the golden rules here. Another golden rule, no questions. So the other person is not allowed to speak. So for example, in the elevator pitch, you don't say things like, how are you today? No, because that will invite the other person to give an answer. No, it's assertive. You say, glad, I'm happy to see you today. Yeah. Golden rule, outcome. What do you want to achieve before planning the contents of your elevator pitch? This needs to be in your head. What do you want to achieve? And you are going to tell the other person what to do. And that is actually planning a new meeting or purchase the product from you. Huh? Tell truth. This is how it is. If we invest in simple environmental measures, for example, we will save $20,000 a year. If you buy this product from me, the benefit will be, etc. So also the benefit to the listener, to the other person, your unique selling points are part of your elevator pitch. They need to be included there. And then you have the close. So tell them what they are going to do. Planning a meeting with you at the ITB Asia, or purchasing the product from you, if we talk about consumers. Okay, so I'm giving you some examples here. So glad, happy to see you. I learned from your website that you're a European outbound tour operator specialized in family travel. I'm a Kenya, Ghana incoming agent specialized in family traveling, offering unique family travel programs since 2002, providing unique cultural, deep inside cultural insights into Kenyan culture. Your customer will have a unique experience when they walk with us, and we have been very successful in doing that since 2000. I'm sure you want to hear more about this. Let's have a meeting at the ITB Asia tomorrow at 2 p.m. This is how you do your elevator pitch and include your unique selling points. What makes you different? This is another example, but this is more about a different situation. Glad, happy to see you. You won't believe what I just discovered. If we invest, we can save. Or for example, if we rethink how we develop our unique selling points, there's a whole new market out there for us. I know you want to hear more about this. This is more about an elevator pitch when you deal with your higher managers, your directors, etc. But it works very well. All right. Questions? Please put them in the chat box. Caroline, maybe you can also unmute all the people that we can maybe talk.
Okay, give me a second. I'll unmute everyone, I guess.
Hello, can you all hear me? All right, so I hope that this webinar was useful for you to know all the ins and outs about unique selling point, how to formulate, how to present, how unique selling point comes back into your product development. We had like 2 hours and 40 minutes now, I see. Unique selling points is something that you can easily fill like a full day, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days with it. So my challenge was to put everything into 2.5 hours and present to you the well, the best practices and all the essentials. So I hope I managed to do that. Again, if things are not clear, really let me know. Use the chat box. So let me open the chat box. Okay, thank you. Wow, I see a lot of compliments. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Good. All right.
We have a few participants who have unmuted. So if they have any questions,
Yes, please.
feel free to share with Margot. Hi, Diana. Hello, Grace. Hi, Esther.
Questions? No?
I guess not.
No.
Hi, Grace.
Wow. I hope that is a good sign that things were clear. Again, and yeah, I can't repeat enough, but look at these. I mean, we're going to share the slides with you. Look at these best practices that I showed to you, Exo Travel, G Adventures, how they deal with presenting their company USPs online. Get inspired, look critically how you communicate your USPs on your website. And if you still don't do this at all, you really have to do it. Remember the slide, 81% of European businesses, they go to your website to learn from what you are doing, to learn from what your strengths are, what your company USPs are. So really do that. Also look at the many examples that I gave to you about unique selling points and how to deal with that in terms of product development, program itinerary descriptions. Yeah. And think about, be honest to yourself. If writing is not what you're really good at, think about working with content writers, or if it's good enough, think about maybe working with a proofreader that can check your texts and make improvements. Yeah. So the slides you will receive, I'm going to look into some other documents that I think are useful for you. I will also share that with Caroline so she can forward. And then next week, same place, same time. And then we're going to look into the European outbound travel market. So it's a bit similar like the session that we did for Asia, but then we will be looking at some selected European source markets. So thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Marlon. Thank you everyone for your time. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.